All right. Hello, everyone. Good evening. My name's Nicole, and welcome back to our English class. I am excited to have you join me today as we will be kicking off another series, learning series, which will be focusing on business English. For today, we will be focusing on the pronunciation of key business terms. Well, under Business English series, we will be talking with we'll be talking about pronunciation of key business terms, presentation vocabulary, business email phrasing, negotiation phrases, and meetings and discussions. Now, so far, on the two previous sessions, we've talked about general business terms and phrases, right? So, yes, for today, we will be kicking off with the specific areas under Business English series. As you know, clear and accurate pronunciation is essential for effective communication in the professional world. So, mispronouncing words can sometimes lead to misunderstandings, which we definitely want to avoid in a business context. Over the course of this session, we will be looking at some fundamental business vocabulary. For each term, we will not only understand its meaning within the business setting, but also pay close attention to how it's correctly pronounced. We will focus on stress patterns, vowel sounds, and any trick consonants that might cause confusion. So we will be doing that. But you might wonder why is focusing on pronunciation so important right at the start of our series? Well, because building a strong foundation in pronunciation will make it easier for you to confidently use these terms in our future sessions, right? So, you know, those sessions on the four other areas that I have mentioned. So get ready to tune your ears and practice your speaking. Now, I encourage you to actively participate by repeating the pronunciations as we go along. Feel free to ask any questions you have about specific sounds or words. So let's just aim to enhance our clarity and confidence in using business English right from the start. All right. Okay. Let's immediately start with um, the first set of phrases for key business terms, which will be on the context of company structure. Okay, let's briefly set the stage for today's topic, which is on company structure. This is a core aspect of understanding any business because knowing the terms related to how company is organized, from its main office to its various departments and leadership roles, it is crucial for a clear, communication and comprehension in the business world. So we will be focusing on pronouncing these key terms accurately while also understanding their specific meaning. So let's start with our first term, headquarters. Again, headquarters. This is the main office of a company. So the headquarters, it is this more of like the central nervous system of a company because it is the primary location where the executive team, which includes the chief executive officer or the CEO and other top level readers, they are they belong here, they operate here. So major strategic decisions about the company's direction, financial planning, and overall operations are typically made here. So think of it as the brain of the organization. It's coordinating all its activities here. While a large company might have offices in various cities or even countries, the headquarters it remains the ultimate point of control and authority. You might hear news reports discussing a company deciding to move its headquarters to a new city for business advantages. That's an example. Well, you use this, of course, when you need to specify the main administrative and strategic center of a company. Use that. So, especially when discussing larger or multinational organizations, so you use that term, headquarters. Now, of course, when trying to say this particular word in a conversation, your tone should be generally neutral. It should be factual, and often carries a sense of formality and importance. Of course, formality will never be um, removed, especially when we talk about business English. Okay, because professional context or professional settings will always require a level of formality when speaking or writing. Now, pronunciation wise, right? Headquarters. So the first syllable, which is head, is pronounced like the English word head. Head. Okay? This is, there's a short vowel E sound here. Head, eh, that's a short vowel sound. It's like bed, right? It's not E because the long vowel E sound is E, like C, something like that. That's a long vowel E sound. So this is had the first syllable. It has a short E vowel sound. So had. The second part is quar. It starts with a consonant blend or consonant cluster KW. It sounds like basically if we try to combine the sounds of letter K and letter W, it will sound like the letter Q, right? So it's like you say quick, quick, quick. The first sound of the quick, cute, quick. So it sounds like that. It is followed by the sound or, which is similar to the or in for or north, something like that. So what you need to remember and what you need to ensure is that you pronounce the letter R sound at the end. Headquarters. Okay. The final part is ters. It has the schwa sound, that upside down E in the IP transcription. This is an IP transcription. That one is a schwa sound. So when we say a schwa sound, it is a very relaxed sound, like the in about. It is followed by the consonant sound Z. So there's a buzzing sound here. All right. Don't forget about that. It is not a hissing sound because it is what it is spelled like, right? Letter S. But the letter S spelling here is, it sounds like a buzzing sound. It sounds like a letter Z sound. Okay? All right. Okay. So, you know, headquarters. Headquarters. So the primary stress, it falls on the first syllable, head. So you say this part with slightly more emphasis, of course. So headquarters. Again, headquarters for a while. On the first syllable, head. So you say this part with slightly more emphasis, of course. So head. Okay, thank you for that. Sorry. Next is partnership. Again, partnership. So it is a business owned by two or more people. That's partnership. It just, basically a formal agreement between two or more individuals to own and operate a business together. So they share the responsibilities of running the business and they also share any profits the business makes or any losses it incurs. The specifics of their agreement, such as how decisions are made, how profits are divided, and who is responsible for what, are usually written down in a partnership agreement. So this business structure is common among professionals like lawyers, accountants, and doctors, as well as in smaller businesses started by a few individuals who want to work together. So that's partnership. Now, when to use this? Well, of course, you use this when describing a business that is jointly owned and managed by multiple individuals who have, formal agreement to share in its outcomes. And when we try to say this, our tone is typically neutral and descriptive, where, sometimes it implies collaboration, of course, and shared responsibility because it's partnership. Pronunciation wise, the first syllable part, it is pronounced with a long vowel sound, part. So part, that's a long, there's a long vowel sound there. Part, so it's like car, part. Okay, you make sure you pronounce the letter R sound here clearly. Part, partnership. But although there are times that's when we try to pronounce the letter R sound clearly, it is leaning on American English, right? Because again, American English is rhotic, meaning that it will pronounce the letter R sound every time or all the time. While we acknowledge that, but while we acknowledge American English, we also acknowledge that there's other types or varieties of English, which includes British English, Australian English, and many more. Now, talking about British English, it is non-rhotic by nature, meaning there are certain times that the letter R sound are not pronounced clearly or not even pronounced. So, usually, um, this word partnership, it tends to be said as partnership. So the letter R sound in part is removed. So you should be mindful of that. And that particular pronunciation is still correct, of course, because it's a pronunciation from a variety of English. And we accept any kind of varieties of English because world English is a trend now. So that's what we're trying to, cater to any kind of variety of English. And I'm saying that it's okay to pronounce that way. Okay. I'm just, what I'm trying to teach you here is just leaning more on the general or the common way to pronounce these words so that more or you can reach more audience, you can reach more masses when trying to speak or pronounce these words in a conversation. That's why I am leaning more on the generally accepted pronunciation. Okay, are we clear on that? All right. Okay. All right. Uh, where are we? Yeah. Uh, Continuing, we've only talked about the first syllable, which is part, and of course, this is the primary stress part. The the middle syllable here is ner, so it contains a schwa vowel sound, then followed by the letter R consonant sound. Very easy, ner, and then lastly is ship. It is pronounced exactly like the English word ship, you know, with the SH sound at the beginning, the short E vowel sound. So when we try to combine all these uh, things that I've mentioned in pronunciation, we can get a pronunciation of this word as partnership. Partnership. Again, partnership. All right, next, franchise. Franchise. It is a licensed use of another company's brand, basically in a business model where a company or the franchisor gives another person or company or the franchisee the right to use its well-known brand name, its products or services, and its operating methods. What that's what a franchise is aiming or is all about. In return for this right, the franchisee usually pays an initial fee and ongoing royalties, a percentage of their sales to the franchisor, of course. Because it's only a franchise, it doesn't mean they own already the whole company, the whole brand. So they still need to pay a certain amount to the owner of the company. Okay, so this allows the franchisee to start a business with an established brand and support system, of course, because it, you know, well, it helps the franchisor expand its brand quickly without investing a lot of its own money directly. So it's more of like renting that, yeah, sort of like renting that a certain rentee is paying this particular amount of rent every month. That's what also a franchisee is doing because they totally not own. Oh yeah, they bought a franchise, but they totally not bought um the owner's rights. Okay, so they still need to pay certain amount to the franchisor. So yeah, you see many examples of franchises in fast food restaurants, in coffee shops, and certain retail stores. When to use this? Of course, we use this when discussing a business that operates under a licensing agreement with a larger established company using their brand and business model. And of course, the tone here, it's generally neutral and informative. It is often used in discussions about business expansion, licensing, and of course, entrepreneurship. Pronunciation-wise, the first syllable, Fran, it is pronounced with a short vowel sound, as in cat. So Fran, it's not Fran, like part. It's not like that because it's a long vowel sound, but it is a short vowel sound. It has a short vowel sound, so it's Fran. Fran. It's direct. It's quick. Okay, Fran. The second syllable is chise. Franchise. So it begins with the letter C, with the consonant cluster CH sound, as in church. It is followed then by a diphthong I. So this one is a diphthong. Again, a diphthong is when one vowel sound smoothly glides to another vowel sound. So that is a diphthong, vowel sound plus vowel sound. Okay? I. So there's a diphthong I because it's pronounced this second syllable is pronounced as chise. I, chise. Okay? And of course, the letter Z's consonant sound at the end. So there's a buzzing sound here. And among the two, the first syllable is our primary stress. So franchise. Again, franchise. One more time, franchise. All right. Board member. Board member, the next one. It is a person and company's decision making. Well, they are just, they are basically individuals who are part of a group called the board of directors. The board is like a governing body for a company. They are elected by the shareholders, the people who own stock in the company, to represent their interests and to make sure that the company is being run properly. So that's a board member. We try to refer to individuals who serve on the governing board of a company and are involved in high level decision making. And so because they are more of like the higher ups, when we try to address, say, board members, we tone it down by having a tone that is neutral and respectful, which is often associated with discussions about corporate governance and leadership. Well, looking at pronunciation, the first part, board, it is pronounced exactly like the English word board, of course. There's nothing different. With there's a long O vowel sound here, board. So it's not board, but board. There's a long O vowel sound here. And it is followed by the letter R sound as well as the letter D consonant sounds. Okay? The second part, mem, it has a short E vowel sound, as in mem. So it is followed by the letter M consonant sound, mem. The short E vowel sound is sandwiched between the letter M sounds. Okay? And lastly, the final part is bur. Bur, I'm sorry. It features the schwa sound, that's upside down E sound. So it is followed again. It is followed by the letter R consonant sound. Okay, um, the R consonant sound at the end. Remember, so both board. Sorry for that. Both board and mem. The first syllable of the second word. They both receive stress, but board usually has a slightly longer emphasis. So board member, board member, board member. Okay. Lastly, department head. Department head. It is a leader of a specific section in a company. Basically, it is a manager or director who is in charge of a particular department or team within a company. So we refer to the person who is the leader or manager of a specific functional area or team within a company's organizational structure. So with that, of course, Our tone is generally neutral and descriptive. We indicate a level of management and responsibility within the company. Pronunciation wise, the first syllable D has a short E vowel sound, as in bit, so it's fast, it's quick. The second syllable part, which is our primary stress, it is pronounced with a long vowel sound. We've already talked about this with partnership, right? So we are familiar with this one. So it receives the primary stress here. Third syllable, meant, it contains the schwa vowel, a quick and a quick and unstressed sound. It is followed then by M and N and T consonant sounds. Okay. It starts with the letter M consonant sounds and then the short vowel sound, and then followed by N and T consonant sounds. And then the final syllable, head. Um, we're also familiar with this. I've already mentioned it at the very first, word, which is headquarters. So there's a short vowel sound here, right? Okay. With that, we try to combine all those things. We get department head. Department head. Remember, the second syllable is the stressed one here. Department head. Okay. For company structure area, we've talked about headquarters, partnership, franchise, board member, and department head. And with that, to see if you are following with what I'm saying, of course, it's time to practice. Let's have a practice drill. Our practice drill is very simple. I just want you to read the sentence with me. As I am reading it, I want you to also read it. Okay? Very easy. All right, starting with headquarters. Our company's headquarters is located in New York City. Partnership. They formed a partnership to launch a new consulting firm. Franchise. He opened a fast food franchise in his hometown. Board member. Each board member voted on the proposed budget. Department head. The department head approved the new hiring plan. All right, very good. Thank you so much for your participation. I hope you are pronouncing, you are speaking, or you are reading the sentence with me in your own comfortable spaces. All right, with that, let's move on immediately with another area, which is on management and leadership. These are the terms, starting with executive. Executive. This is a high level company manager. Executive. Basically, they are a member of the senior management team within a company. So these individuals hold respond, significant responsibility for the organization's performance and strategic direction because they typically oversee large departments, divisions, or even entire business units. So executives are involved in setting goals, in making crucial financial decisions, and ensuring that the company operates efficiently and achieves its objectives. So that's executives. Usually, you are familiar with the titles of these executives. So we have, CEO, those chief executive officer, chief financial officer, CFO, chief operating officer, COO, chief marketing officer, CMO, and various roles, executive roles. So their actions and decisions have a significant impact on the company's success. Basically, we refer to the top tier management personnel within a company who are responsible for strategic leadership and overall performance. And with that, of course, they are top tier management personnel. We say that in a generally neutral and often carries a sense of authority and importance. Pronunciation wise, executive, the first syllable X, it is pronounced with a short E sound followed by a soft G sound. Egg. Egg. So that's how we say it. Instead of X, we say egg. Okay? Second syllable, egg. Ano? Exact. So Z, it has a short S sound, as in bed, and it is where the primary stress falls here. So you pronounce it with slightly more emphasis. Third syllable, exec, you, exec, sorry, you. So it has a short U sound here, as in, yeah, it has a short U sound. Okay. And then the final syllable, tiv, it is a short E sound, as in bit. It is then followed by the V consonant sound. So executive. The primary stress again is on the second syllable. Executive. Again, executive. Next, I've mentioned this one, CEO. Very simple. The leader, CEO, you just basically read the letters of this term. Well, CEO, it's the top leader of a company. It's, the abbreviation of this is a chief executive officer. So we refer to the individual holding the highest executive position in a company. So your tone should be neutral, should be formal, and typically conveys respect for their position or authority. Now, again, in pronunciation, each letter is pronounced individually as its letter name in English. So C, it's pronounced as C with a short E vowel sound. E is pronounced as E, short E sound. O is pronounced as like a diphthong, O, as in go. So that's a diphthong already, O. That's a diphthong. The final letter often receives a slight emphasis here. So just make sure to pronounce each letter clearly and distinctly. We say it as CEO. The primary stress is on O. CEO. Again, CEO. Third, consultant. Consultant is the expert who gives advice. Um, they are a professional who has specialized knowledge and expertise in particular field, such as business strategy, information technology, human resources, or marketing. So we refer to an expert hired by a company to provide professional advice and guidance in a specific area. So they are generally neutral and informative, often with a tone of respect for their specialized knowledge. Pronunciation wise, consultant, the first syllable con, it is pronounced with a short U sound, as in U, U. It also almost sounds like a schwa like sound in cup, as a cup, con, something like that. The second syllable sol is pronounced with still a short O sound as in cup, so sol, con, so. So the syllable carries the primary stress. So this particular syllable, second syllable. The final part, tant, it is pronounced you know, as tant with a schwa sound for the a tant. So it's very good. It's stressed. It's followed by n and t consonant sounds. So you emphasize on the second syllable again, sol. So you say this as consultant, consultant. Fourth, compliance officer. Compliance officer, they ensures laws and rules are followed. They have a crucial role within a company focused on making sure the organization operates according to all applicable laws, regulations, internal policies, and ethical standards. So they we try to refer to the individuals responsible for overseeing and enforcing a company's adherence to laws, to regulations, and internal policies that I've mentioned. So with that, the pronunciation here is very easy. Compliance officer. It's a little bit longer, but I try to discuss this one. For the first syllable, com, it has a short, it has a schwa sound there, that upside down E. Come. So it sounds like come. The second syllable, ply, comply. Not ply. It is pronounced as ply with a diphthong I. So there's a diphthong I here. Ply. It sounds like fly, but you change the first sound with letter P sound. Instead of F, you say instead of the letter F sound, you change it with letter P sound. So instead of fly, we say ply. Okay? This part receives the first level of stress. Ply. The third syllable ends is pronounced with a schwa sound still. There's a consonant N and S sounds here. The fourth syllable of first syllable of the second word. So it is pronounced as there's a short O vowel sound here, off. So this part receives the primary stress too. And then final syllable, fissure. No. Yeah, well, let's just try to combine those two. Fissure, it is pronounced as fissure with a short E sound, as in fish. No? It is followed then by a schwa sound and the letter R sound. So here, we say it as compliance officer. Compliance officer. Okay? Compliance officer. And lastly, corporate governance. Again, corporate governance. It is managing how company is run. Basically, this is the system of rules, practices, and processes that guide and control a company. It's about how a company makes decisions, how it's held accountable, and how it balances, you know, this interest of its, its directors, employees, customers, and even the community. So we are discussing the overall framework of rules, practices, and processes that direct and control a company's operations and decision making. Pronunciation wise, it's a bit longer here because there's two words that are long. Well, let's start with the first word. The first syllable, core, it is pronounced with a short O sound. So this part receives primary stress. Second syllable, por, corpo, it is pronounced with a schwa sound, po, po. So it's quick, it's unstressed. And then the third syllable, rate, it is pronounced with a schwa sound still, followed by the letter R and T sounds. Rate, 8. Now, there's also a, yeah, no, there's no, there's, so, yeah, the first word is corporate, corporate. Okay. Next, on the second syllable, the first syllable is gov. It is pronounced as gov with a short oo sound. This part receives a secondary stress. The fifth syllable it is pronounced with a schwa sound still and then a letter R sound. And the final syllable nance, it is pronounced with a schwa sound still and then followed by letters N and S sounds. So corporate governance. Again, corporate governance. For management and leadership, we've talked about executive, CEO, consultant, compliance officer, and corporate governance. So to check if you are really with me here, first let's have a practice drill. It's time to practice. Same pattern, same process. I want you to read the sentence with me. Starting with executive. The executive team met to discuss the company's growth and strategy. Next, CEO. The CEO addressed all employees during during the annual meeting. Consultant. We hired a consultant to improve our supply chain process. Compliance officer. The compliance officer ensures that we follow all legal regulations. And corporate governance. Strong corporate governance builds investor confidence. All right, moving on to another set of words under communication and meetings. So this is another area in business English. So effective communication is at the heart of all business interactions, and understanding these terms will help you participate more confidently and clearly in various professional settings. That's why we'll cover simple meaning, more detailed explanation for intermediate learners like you, intermediate English learners. So when we are tapping on communication and meeting, starting with negotiation. Again, negotiation. This is a discussion to reach an agreement. Basically, it is a process where two or more parties discuss and try to reach a mutually acceptable, agreement on a particular issue. We're talking about discussions aimed at reaching an agreement between different parties. So it can range from neutral business like tone to collaborative and persuasive tone, depending on the context of the negotiation. Pronunciation wise, negotiation, say ni, short E sound here, and then you say go, go. This part has a secondary stress. And she sounds like the word she, pronounce she. Yeah, there's a short E sound here. Then you say negotiate. A, that is a diphthong sound. A. That in itself is a diphthong sound. This part has the main stress too. Finally, you say shun. Shun. It's very easy, it's very quick and stressed, direct. Shun. Negotiation. So this is how you pronounce actually the letters Tion. Shun. Usually, if not all the time, most of the time. If you encounter a word that has a spelling that has a Tion spelling at the end, I don't know, usually at the end, you say it as shun. Okay, so that's it. Negotiation. So a syllable here is the emphasis. Again, negotiation. One more time, negotiation. Next, proposal. It is a formal suggestion or plan. Basically, it's a formal document or presentation that offers a suggestion or a plan, usually to solve a problem, provide a service, or outline a project. We refer to a formal offer or plan presented for consideration. So, proposal, of course, formal agreement, we use professional, persuasive, and clear tone. Pronunciation wise, say pro, that's the first syllable. There's a relaxed sound here, schwa sound. Then say po, po. This part has the main stress. And finally says zal. So there's a buzzing sound here actually, instead of a hissing sound. Proposal. Okay, zal. So you emphasize on the pull sound here. Proposal, proposal. Again, proposal. So on the syllable stressed, in the stressed syllable here, there's a diphthong sound. Oh, po. So you make sure to remember that. Proposal. Again, proposal. Third, agenda. It is a list of items to discuss in a meeting. It's, the topics or items that will be discussed during a meeting, usually in a specific order. It helps to keep the meeting focused and organized and ensures that all important points are covered within the allocated time. So we are talking about the list of topics for a meeting, basically, as simple as that. So the tone here is neutral and organizational. The pronunciation here, of course, we say first a relaxed sound like a schwa sound. So you say uh, uh. Then you say Jen, Jen. This part has the main stress. Jen. Finally say da, da. There's a schwa sound there, here also. So you emphasize on the Jen syllable and we get agenda. Again, agenda. Fourth, presentation. It is sharing info through a formal. So it's basically a formal way of sharing information with an audience. So it usually involves a speaker talking and often using visual aids like slides to explain a topic, share data, or propose idea. So we're referring to a formal talk where information is shared within an audience. All right. Pronunciation wise, presentation. First syllable is pres. So the first part here has a second. This part here is the secondary stress. So pres, there's a buzzing sound here. Pres and a short a vowel sound. Pres. Then it's a short and relaxed sound. So there's a schwa sound here. Then you say te, te. There's a diphthong a here. So the diphthong is a, and the syllable is te. So it's like you're saying the letter a. That's a diphthong in itself, the sound of that. So this part, it has the main stress. Finalization, shun, Tion. Remember, Tion. Say the shun. So presentation, presentation. Okay. And lastly, correspondence. Correspondence. This is business letters or emails. It refers to the written communication basically. We are talking about formal written communication in a business context. So usually professional and formal when we try to write something in a business context. So pronunciation wise, you say core, core. The first part is the secondary stressed core. There's a schwa sound still here. No, not a schwa sound, but still a relaxed sound. Then you say spawn, spawn. This part is the main stress. Finally say duns, duns. So correspondence, correspondence. Again, correspondence. For communication and meetings, we've talked about negotiation, proposal, agenda, presentation, and correspondence. Now, again, same pattern, same process. To check if you are following with me, let's have a practice drill. Same pattern, same process. You read the sentence with me. Starting with negotiation. After a long negotiation, both sides agree to the terms. Proposal. She submitted a detailed proposal for the new marketing campaign. Agenda. What's the first item on today's meeting agenda? He gave a presentation. He gave a presentation on quarterly earnings. Correspondence. And all official correspondence should be arrived or should be. I'm sorry. All official correspondence should be archived properly. All right. Let's immediately move on to the fourth area, which is on finance and investment. Starting with um, shareholder. This is the person who owns company shares. So shareholder, it also is sometimes called a stockholder, an individual or an organization that owns shares of stock in a public or private company. So we refer to someone who owns stock in a company. So shareholder or stockholder. Shareholder, we're going to focus on shareholders. Shareholder. So the first syllable, share. Share, this part is the main stress. Now, share. We say it as share. There's a diphthong A here, share. Then say whole. Whole, this part is the secondary stress. It sounds like they let the word HOLE. Whole. And finally say der. Der. There's a schwa sound, I think. Yeah. There's a schwa sound here, very quick and stressed syllable. So shareholder. This word is shareholder. Next is IPO. IPO, it's the first sale of company stock to the public. IPO. It stands basically for initial public offering. It's the first time a private company sells its shares of stock to the general public on a stock exchange. So we are referring to or discussing a private company's first offering of its stock to the public market. So when we try to say this, of course, we just say it as it is, the letters. Say the first is I. That's a diphthong. I. P. P. There's a short E vowel sound here, and then another diphthong, which is O. O. So this part often has a slight emphasis. So you pronounce basically just, pronounce each letter clearly. So we say it as IPO. Again, IPO. IPO. Initial public offering. Third, venture capital. Again, venture capital. So this is an investment or in new or risky businesses. So venture capital. It is a type of financing that investors provide to start up companies and small businesses with high growth potential. We're talking about investments in early stage, high growth potential companies. So venture capital. Pronunciation wise, first syllable ven, there's a short e vowel sound here. This part is the first stress. And then we say chore with a ch sound in the beginning, just like church. You just say chur, chur. Then say cup, cup. This part is the second stress. There's a short sound here, as in cut. So cup. And finally, ital. Uh, let's just say e first. E, very easy. Short E sound, and then tall, tall. So it's also quick. It sounds like total, the second syllable of total. So we say it as venture capital. Again, venture capital. One more time, venture capital. Fourth, return on investment or ROI. So it is a profit compared to cost of investment. Basically, we often abbreviate it as ROI, but it is return on investment. It is a financial metric used to evaluate the efficiency or profitability of an investment. So that's return of investment. Pronunciation wise, there it's a bit longer, but yeah, the first syllable here is re, so it has a short E sound. And then you say turn. This part has the first stress, so turn. turn, there's a short, quick sound, vowel, schwa sound here. Then you say on, very easy, on. So you combine the letter O and N sound. We have O and then nasal sound. So we combine that and we get on. Then you say in, very easy. Instead of o, letter O sound, the first sound is letter E. So short E. Then we say vest. Vest, this part is the second stress. There's a short E sound here. And finally we say ment. Ment. Again, ment. There's a short there's a short sound also, vowel sound here. So this is return on investment. Return on investment, or ROI. And finally, we have risk management. Again, risk management. So planning for possible problems. This is basically the process of identifying, assessing, and controlling potential risks or negative events that could affect a business or investment. So risk management. Okay, pronunciation wise, first syllable is risk. This part is the first stress too. So there's a short E sound here, risk. And then the last part is a consonant cluster S and K. So risk. Then we say second syllable, ma, ma, um, sorry, it's man. Man, this part is the second stress. And then edge, edge, and the next syllable is edge. So there's a short S sound here. But if you try to say the whole word management, it's not noticeable already because it's quick and fast. And then meant, of course, meant. There's a short E sound also, schwa sound also here. So we say it as the risk management. Again, risk management. One more time, risk management. So for finance and investment, we've talked about shareholder, IPO, venture capital, return on investment, risk management. So with that, we will be having a practice drill, of course. It's time to practice. Same pattern, same process. First, shareholder. Shareholders are expecting a higher dividend this year. IPO. The startup is preparing for its IPO next month. Venture capital. They raised $5 million in venture capital funding. Return on investment. We analyze the return on investment, or ROI, before doing any project. Risk management. Risk management is essential for financial stability. So those are the fourth set of words. And with that, let's continue with the fifth set of words, which is leading on planning and operations. Starting with implementation. Very familiar. Implementation. It's putting a plan into action. Basically, the process of putting a plan or strategy into effect. It involves taking the necessary steps and actions to make the plan a reality. So we're talking about discussing the stage of taking a plan and making it happen. Okay. Pronunciation wise, the first syllable im, there's a short E sound here, and then ble, short E sound. Then men, there's also a short E sound here. Then this you say te implementation. So there's a diphthong sound this in this syllable. Te. And then Shon, of course, Tion. We are familiar with that. So we emphasize on te, the one with diphthong. So we say it as implementation. Next, restructuring. So this is changing company setup. We refer to a significant change in the way a company is organized or operates. Restructuring. We are, um, you know, we are going to focus on the pronunciation. So pronunciation wise, first syllable is re. This has a short E sound. So re. Struck, the second syllable, struck. This part has the main stress. There's a short vowel sound here. So this one, the one I highlighted, that one, it signifies a short vowel sound. Okay, so struck. Then you say ch, ch, chu, chu, chu. So there's a ch sound here, like in church. So and short u sound, so cho. Finally, we say ring, ring. There's a nasal sound here, the ng sound here, and the short e vowel sound. So we have restructuring. Again, restructuring. Emphasize the second syllable. Restructuring. All right. Third, competitive edge. This is an advantage over others. Basically, it's a factor or set of factors that allows the company to outperform its rivals in this market. So we are basically just discussing what makes a company better or different from its competitors. That is competitive edge. Pronunciation wise, the first syllable com, there's a schwa sound here. So it's quick and fast. It's unstressed, basically. Then pet. There's a short e sound here. This part is the main stress. And then competitive e, e. So short e sound next. And then tev. There's still a short e sound here in the middle. And edge. There's a short unrelaxed s sound. Edge. So you emphasize on the pet syllable again. So you get competitive edge. Fourth, long-term vision. Long-term vision. This is a plan for the future. It's basically a company's plan or idea for where it wants to be in the future, usually several years down the line. So long-term vision. Pronunciation-wise, the first syllable long. There's a nasal sound here. Now the ng sound in IP transcription is just, it looks like this, the n with the tail. So that's an ng sound. Sound. Okay? Long. This part, the first part is a secondary stress. Then you say term. There's a short quick sound. No, not short, but long e sound. Term. So next we say v, a short e sound. This part is the main stress, and then Jon. So there's a lot of Z sound here, buzzing sound here, vision. So you emphasize on V. Again, this is mentioned, or this is read as long-term vision. Again, long-term vision. And finally, freelance. This is working independently. Basically, it describes a way of working where a person works for themselves and is hired by different companies or clients for specific projects or tasks rather than being a permanent employee of one company. That's freelance. They are called freelancer. We're talking about someone who works independently for different clients. Pronunciation wise, starting with free, the first syllable, this has a short e vowel sound. And then lance, it starts with an L sound, consonant sound. And then ants, a short vowel sound, ending with a hissing sound. So freelance, again, freelance. For planning and operations, we've talked about implementation, restructuring, competitive edge, long-term vision, and freelance. And with that, let's have a practice drill. It's time to practice. Same pattern, same process. Starting with implementation. The new software's implementation went smoothly. Restructuring. The company announced a major restructuring plan. Competitive edge. Innovation gives them a competitive edge in the market. Long-term vision. The CEO shared the company's long-term vision. And lastly, freelance. She works as a freelance graphic designer. And let's move on to the last area that we are tapping here on today, which is on digital business terms. So it's very important that we also tap into these terms. Starting with e-commerce. Again, e-commerce. One more time, e-commerce. So it's buying and selling online. Basically, it's short for electronic commerce. We're talking about buying or selling products and services online. E-commerce. Pronunciation wise, the first syllable is E. So we say it as E, which is leaning more on long E sound. This part has the first stress. And then com, second syllable. This part has the second stress. Com, it is a short O sound. So com. And then finally with ers. The letter R here is pronounced clearly. Ers. So e-commerce. E-commerce. Okay, e-commerce. Second, automation. Automation. It is using machines to replace human tasks. Automation. We are talking about, you know, using of technology to perform tasks automatically without human intervention. So automation. Pronunciation wise, let me start with O sound, short O sound, and then followed by to, to, with a schwa sound. Then another next is with a diphthong sound A, so may. This part is the main stress, and we end with a tion sound, shon. We get automation, automation, again, automation. Third, blockchain, blockchain. It is a secure way of storing digital records. So that's a blockchain. It's a digital system for recording and sharing information in a way that makes it very difficult to change, to hack, or to cheat the system. Blockchain. Pronunciation wise, we start with the first syllable block. Block. This part is the main stress. So there's a short vowel sound here. Block, and then ending with the letter K sound. Then chain. Chain. So there's a CH sound here, and then a diphthong also A. Chain. A. Chain. Combine them together, we get blockchain. Again, blockchain. One more time, blockchain. Fourth, digitalization. This is basically using digital tools or systems. That's digitalization. We're discussing the process of making business activities and information digital. Pronunciation wise, we start with D. D, the short E vowel sound, and then G, like the J letter J sound. So G, still with a short E vowel sound. Then you say T, digital, digital. Okay, T. So with a short, with a schwa sound, T. I know, tall, tall. I'm sorry, tall. Then lay, digital lay, digital lay. So there's a schwas, no, a diphthong sound here, a, lay. And then zay, there's a buzzing sound next. This part is the main stress. So zay, a buzzing sound plus a diphthong a, zay. And finally, tion, shon. So we get digitalization. Again, digitalization. And lastly, the trend of today, artificial intelligence or AI. It is smart machines that think. Okay, we're discussing the field of creating intelligent machines or referring to specific AI technologies. All right, that's artificial intelligence. Pronunciation wise, we start with short sound. No, yeah, R, short sound, which is basically saying, pronouncing the letter R sound. And then T with a short E sound. Fi, fish, to fish, yeah, fish, short E sound still with where we have the main stress, followed by L, fish, artificial. Yeah, L, very quick sound. Then on the second word, we start with in, short E sound still. This part has the secondary stress. And then we say tell, short E sound, sandwiched in between the letter T sound and letter L sound. E, next is E, short E sound, and then we end with gens. Gens, like we say it as gens with a letter J sound and a short E sound and ending with a hissing sound S. So we get artificial intelligence. Again, artificial intelligence. So the terms under digital business area are e-commerce, automation, blockchain, digitalization, and artificial intelligence. And we go over immediately with our last practice drill. Same pattern, same process. First, e-commerce. E-commerce sales have grown rapidly in recent years. Automation. Automation has improved productivity in our warehouse. Blockchain. Blockchain technology secures digital transactions. Digitalization. Digitalization helps streamline internal processes. artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is changing how we analyze data. And that's it for our business English key terms. Okay, good job, everyone. Well, let's try to recall every word or term that were talked about earlier on this whole session. Okay, let's try to read each word together. Okay, headquarters, board members, CEO, corporate governance, agenda, partnership, department head, consultant, negotiation, presentation, franchise, executive, compliance officer, proposal, correspondence, shareholder, IPO, um, venture capital, return on investment, restructuring, freelance, risk management, competitive edge, implementation, and long term vision. So, all right, everyone, this brings us to the end of our session on the pronunciation of key business terms. I sincerely hope that this detailed exploration of vocabulary across various business areas, from company structure and management to communication, finance, and the digital world, has been very beneficial for you. Now, remember everyone that accurate pronunciation is a cornerstone of clear and confident communication, especially in professional settings, because by paying attention to the nuances of each word, including stress patterns and individual sounds, you will be better equipped to express yourself effectively and avoid potential misunderstandings. I encourage you to revisit these terms and practice their pronunciation regularly. Try incorporating them into your conversations and written communication. The more you use them, because the more you use them, the more natural they will become. Thank you for your participation, I guess, because I think it's um you're there, no? Thank you for your active listening. Your maybe there's questions that you might want to pose. And it's been a pleasure guiding you through this foundational aspect of business communication. So, as we move forward in our Business English series, we will be building upon this foundation with topics like presentation vocabulary, business email phrasing, negotiation phrases, and strategies for effective meetings and discussions. So, I look forward to continuing this learning journey with you. Now, wishing you all the best, everyone, in your professional endeavors and continued success in enhancing your business English proficiency. Have a productive rest of your day. Goodbye and good night.